Amacha malungi nsuubira nti twasuze bulungi. Ennaku z'omwezi ziri 10 omwezi tuli mu gwa March omwaka tuli mu 2026. Program ebeera Mighty Drive tubeerawo wano buli lunaku essaawa zibeera 2 ez'okumakya paka ssaawa 4 era tutambulira ddala n'omugenyi gwe tuba tufunye olwo olunaku era nga tuwogera ku nsonga ezibeera particular to that guest gwe tuba tulinaye mu studios. Olunaku lwaleero lwakubiri era nja kubategeeza nti mu studios ngenda kuba ntuddemu n'omukulu Maseru Kasadat okuva mu kibiina kya Democratic Front gwe kyetumanyi nga DF ekikulemberwa omukulu Honorable Matthias Mpuuga. Tugenda kuba nga tutunuulira economy nga with the social political atmosphere or situation after the elections era ebintu byali badde bitya era gwe osuubira kiki ekyandibadde kikoleddwawo. Onono ng'atuula ku komiti ya Human Rights mu kibiina kyavaamu ekya DF. Tugenda kuba nga tutunuulira n'ensonga ya human rights violations eyaliwo previously mu Kalulu ke twakavaamu and what should be done okulaba nti ate embeera eyo etereera oba ebeerako yaddeko ate era tugenda kuba nga ate tutunuulira economy nga bweri vis-a-vis leadership, regional leadership gye twafunye olw'ensonga nti saawa eno omukulembeze w'eggwanga Uganda ate ya leading summit ya leading heads of state ya EALA oba East African Legislative Assembly. Tugenda kubanga ate nayo tunuulire the chances that we have olw'okuba nti we are holding the highest position in the region. Sobola okulaba ng'oba tusobola okukozesa that leadership position as an influence influencing domestic politics here in Uganda and the economy at large. Olunaku lw'eggulo nabategeezeza nti a lot of things are happening politically lwakuba nti abasinga ku ffe tuyinza okuba nga tetubigoberera bulungi nnyo, from the war that is happening in Iran paka wane South Sudan ate wuuyo Congo paka wane waffe Uganda. Amataba gakutte e Kenya era nga it is one of the news that ensi gye yabadde tesuubira. Kenya tetera nnyo ku floodinga naye ate this time around they are experiencing floods. Wane waffe Uganda still floods are taking place era enkuba bw'etonnya nnyo tujja kulaba nga ate ebizimbe mu Kampala biddamu okulaba nga ate ebifloodinga. KCCA yavuddeyo netegeeza nti omukulu Hamu Kigundu okuzimba omwalo ogwo yaweebwa olukusa oba katugambe nti yabeera approved, he was approved okugenda maaso n'okudevelopinga omwalo ogwo. So nno ekyo kiraga nti bweba plan, that means his plan was approved era nga these repercussions that we are seeing nti bannayuganda bali mu experiencing what they haven't been experiencing in a long time. Ndowooza naye ensonga eyo bajja kubanga ate bagisalira amagezi. Eri mu lutalo lwa Iran ate mutabanyi w'omukulu Khamenei yalondeddwa okubanga addira taata we mu bigere. Kakati awo abatunuulizi b'olutalo basobola okumanya nti awo embeera eyinza okubeerera ddala embi olw'ensonga nti we expect nti omwana ono agenda kukozesa obusungu bungi okuwoolera olw'ensonga nti famire ye yonna yasaanyizibwawo okuva ku taata we, mukyala we, baganda be na mwana we omuto ddala yali ne kitaawe bonna baagenda, bannyina bonna battibwa. So omuvubuka ono oba omwami ono bw'abanga alondeddwawo okudda mu bigere bya kitaawe yandikozesa ate position eno okulwanagana ennyo ng'agezaako okuwoolera olw'okuba nti abantu be battibwa. Olutalo luno terunnamala mwezi but abantu bayitirivu nnyo abalugendeddemu oba abalusuddemu akaba ate ng'enjuyi zombi tezinnasalawo kuba nti ziteeka ebikola wansi okugenda mu dialogue for such situations. Abatunuulizi b'ensonga oba abalwanyirizi b'eddembe basinga nnyo okusaba nti wabeerewo peaceful dialogue okulaba nti ate tutakkiriza obulamu bw'abantu obutagendera mu lutalo. Unfortunately though enjuyi zombi USA wera egamba yo teli ready kugenda mu dialogue na Iran unless nga Iran evaayo neraga nti atuwanise mutukubye tukkiriza mutuwangudde, so for that reason Drafa we agree you take over. Era nga bano bategeezeza nti when Iran doesn't do that bagenda kugikuba paka we banagikakkanya wansi, awo nno babakanira omulimu gwabwe ogw'okubanga ate bazimba Iran okubeera great again. Era ndowooza tujja kubanga tusuubira nti olutalo luno lwakunyinyitira ebbanga lye tutamanyi nako. Era nga njaga okutegeeza nti global fuel prices are rising. What does that mean to you, a common Uganda that is in Uganda that isn't even following what is happening outside your country? That means that if you have a car, ogenda kubanga ate experiencing amafuta nga geeyongeddemu olw'ensonga ey'olutalo. Era bamama baffe abakozesa paraffin, they will also face challenges. Everything is going to go up now afumbira ku gas. So ensonga si nnungi nnyo, nenga tujja kubanga ate tutunuulira okulaba ebintu nga bwe biri. Olunaku lw'eggulo twabadde wano nga tunyumyamu kkono omukulu Mukoseyi Arnold Anthony ku nsonga ezabadde ez'enjawulo, era nga twagezezaako okulaba nti tutema empendo oba tuwa solutions to what is happening in the country but also the world at large. Era nga omukulu yabadde nga ye afuba nnyo okulaba nti our solution is basing on his own opinion, era nga tetugimuvunaanira muntu yenna because we are all entitled to our own opinions. Era nga ku nsonga y'amataba ye yagambye nti Kampala yonna needs a restructure basobole okulaba nga bamenya ebizimbe ebimu ebikadde ebitatambulira nnyo ku plaani, awo no baddemu tuzimbe drainage system eyinza okuba nga ate ejja kutaasiriza Kampala. But if that isn't done, tujja kubanga ate tweyongera okulaba ebizimbe ebisinga nga bifloodinga olw'ensonga nti buildings abantu beeyongera okuzimba ate buli azimba alina plaani ye gy'atambulirako. Ngenda kubanga mpumulamuko katono nnyo, omugenyi wange aneegaseeko sobola okubanga ate tutambulira wamu.
The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
Go to the church,
Tuli man, what's up?
Man, can you imagine people just dump everywhere? Someone drinks water and throws the bottle wherever.
Come on, Rogers. What else do you expect people to do with an empty bottle?
Simanya now, Yakola. Do you know that plastics take at least 450 years to decompose?
What? That's a long time.
Exactly. Because plastics are made out of a lightweight and flexible material that doesn't decompose easily. And plastics everywhere in the environment cause plastic pollution.
What is plastic pollution now?
It is the accumulation of plastic waste in the environment, like bottles, polythene bags, straws. All of these contribute to plastic pollution.
I have been using them without knowing their effect.
Yeah, a lot of people have. Plastics are a danger to the ecosystem, both on land and in water.
So how can we overcome this problem? Is there something we can do?
Oh yes, we can reduce by minimizing the use of plastics, reuse by repurposing them, or recycle by collecting and processing them into new products.
Everyone wants to change the world, but no one wants to change themselves for the world.
How about we change our habits for the world?
And it starts with me and you.
This message is brought to you by Alternative Digital. The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
Tukolikayo mukuwumulamuko. I can now authoritatively say that omugenyi wange mwali mu studios era tujja kubanga ate tutandikirawo discussion nga bweri. We are going to be understanding the post-election socio-political economy and its implications. Era nga tugenda kubanga twanipakinga this discussion with Mr. Maseru Kasadati okuva mu kibiina kya DF. Era nga ajja kubanga atubuulira how they performed the election and whether they are okay with their performance, and then tutunulire the post-election economy of Uganda and what could be done if that is to say that the economy isn't as we expect it to be. So nkubiriza nnyo ojoininge discussion yaffe nga otewegata ku Facebook, the Alternative Digitalk or Digitalk TV, kozesa comment section teka mendowooza yoba ekibuuzo kyo. Ate ku YouTube ogenda kubanga ate otusanga the Alternative Digitalk, era nawo kozesa comment section otekemu ekibuuzo kyo oba endowooza yo ngenda kubanga ate mpitamu mu comment section okulaba nti omukulu Maseruka addamu ebibuuzo byammwe obanga tubuildinga ku suggestions zammwe oba opinions zammwe. So I am really happy Maseruka okuba nti ntudde naawe. I have always been humbled that every time they call you I am the one hosting, such that I can relate properly to the discussions mbadde naawe previously.
It is okay.
So subira nti oli bulungi.
Yes, ndi bulungi era abalabi ba Digitalk netondola okutuuka mu ekikeerezi. However, I'm here. Era yes, nebaza okubanga mpeeba omukisa okujja okukyalako wano. Mbeeko nange byenjogerera eggwanga.
Wewa alhamdulillah. How is DF? DF idiot here?
The Democratic Front is fine. If it was a human being, it is healthy. Moving on well, probably well, whereas previous elections tezatambula nga bwe twali tusuubira. However, we are happy that at least expectations of Fezali at least to have a representation in Parliament. However, basing on the circumstances and for the period that we had established ourselves, it was quite hard to sell the agenda within a very short period of time. However, we are very happy for the performances that we registered in the local government, and we pray that we can build on that. And in the near future, there are still more elections going on. There are by-elections. There are what? So we hope that we will.
You might scoop a member of parliament.
We will come back stronger. Yes.
But you wouldn't want to say that mwalina short time because you had incumbents. That means that these people babadde nga bali mu bantu era abantu bwe babanga babadde bakolera abantu. They had every reason to take them back.
Yes, we had incumbents and we had new potentials. However, it was not a must that every incumbent across all political parties was able to win. Okay. So those of DF were no exception, because if you look at the mortality rate in Parliament, it was almost 75%. So it is all across, only that maybe Fetulabike knew. However, it was all over. Yes.
Okay. So a lot of people abavuddeyo nga bagezako contesting results as they were announced by the chairman of EC nga bagamba nti omukulembeze eyalangirirwa didn't deserve those results. Would you want to also join the voices and say results teyaziweza, or given the situation that was prevailing towards the election nti mwalimu emigozo oba noejaletera to such kind of win, because omukulembeze for the previous elections that we have known abadde tawangulangako with such a higher percentage?
Yes, the percentage eva ku bintu nga bibiri. Nali wano nenkogamba nti tuli mu Kalulu ketulimu naye there is no a coherent message from the opposition. Secondly, yes, so the people had no rallying call on what exactly to do.
Buli omu yali ayogera kiki?
Yes. Secondly, when you look at this, the circumstances under which the elections were held, you will find that there was no a stronger legal framework that would protect those that are participating in that election. And the DF was always saying that let us have electoral reforms not necessarily for the sake of reforms, but to see that at least there are some assurances and guarantees. Many people won the elections. However, things turned overnight at the Tuli Center.
And they were not announced.
Yes, many people lost elections in very dubious ways. So they are right to contest those elections. However, when you look at the options of contesting those elections, they are limited. Olwensonga, the law as it is so much protective. One, of the Electoral Commission officials that will, with impunity, do whatever they want. Also, the law protects so much the person that has been declared. So, contesting an election here, I'll deal with the consequences. Because kastanze nangirwa wali ninyira mu parliament kijja kuba kizibu kola ki
ogonzijayo
olwokubanga amateeka tegali malambulukufu bulungi.
Naye tulabye bangi be bajjayo mu parliament nga ona ayina obujulizi obulaga. The only problem with you abantu abali ku opposition is that mugenda kugamba nti teyawangula mu butuufu naye nga temulina evidence to that.
Nanti that is the issue nti.
Yes, that means omuntu aba yawangula.
Ebbanga katugende ku presidential elections. Ebbanga eriweebwa presidential candidate abadde yesimbyewo okunoonya obujulizi afayiringa omusango aguwoze banga tono nnyo.
Ife tuba tulowooza nti nno as the election is taking place, for you are taking track of all the irregularities that are happening during the process.
Most of the elections, most of the violations, electoral violences that happen in an election, especially presidential and parliamentary elections, happen on the election day.
That's why we expect
so on the election
Tuli Center as the opposition you have your agents.
Yes, that's what we are saying, that ebibaddewo ku lunaku lwa Kalulu oyina ennaku almost ntono nnyo okubanga ofayiringa omusango all across the country. It is very hard. It is not actually feasible. Realistically tekisoboka.
Kisoboka singa muba mulina mwe nga mweteekateeka nga mwalina ba agents all over the country, but also let us agree Maseruka nti namwe aba opposition temubadde na busobozi buteekawo bantu banaalabiriza buwanguzi bwamwe oba loosi yammwe all over the country.
No, and olese debate endala whether mwateekawo abakuumi b'akalulu bamusobola okuprotecting akalulu but in all circumstances an election, why should an election be protected? Nga sika akubbibwa, because okuteeka ekikomera kunjo, that means wekengera ki Bubbi. That alone is a signal that there are malpractices that are taking place. An election must be free and fair. Nga buli omu amanyi nti bwe nnonda akaluba nkajja kugenda nga bwe kali. Lwaki ate nteeka nkanoonya ate nteekawo naana akankuumira nga bamaze okukampa. So in such circumstances, we should ask ourselves, are we really holding elections or it is some form of thuggery? Kakati ekyo kugamba nti teri agenda mu Kalulu nga iyo reda amayi bagenda kumubba era ye aim ya collecting bujulizi kugenda asooka kujja nga ze kuwangula. The circumstances is happening during the elections zezimu forcing actually or contesting that win in court. So take no more time.
Wakanonye kakume kabanji yali amanyi bajja kabba, but you are not a member of that party, so you do not have comment on that. Does your party hold any regrets nga olwobutasimba omuntu at the presidential level?
The party does not hold any regret. It is actually grateful to the people of Uganda for the positions that we are able to win. We have presence in the local government, and we did not that much lose at a higher margin in the parliamentary elections. Most of our candidates were second with a slim margin, and if they had if the party had been unveiled earlier, maybe things would have been different. So tetwali inconvenienced by failure to present a presidential candidate, because
so your performance relating anyo kuba nti the party was new.
Yes,
but the party had all the faces.
You see, they do not vote faces. They vote a party. The reason as to why we form a political party is to have a unified symbol. That's why if you say that they were old faces were not all over the country. Over the 88 candidates that were contesting, those were not old faces. The few old faces were spearheading other new faces. However, what was unifying us is a symbol, which is a tree. So the symbol had not yet been marketed enough across the country.
Oh, your message wasn't marketed enough.
Each candidate at their locality had a message.
Had a message.
And that is why they were able at least to acquire the very many votes that put them in the second or third positions in the election. So we do not believe it was about the message. It was about other factors, because some factors are general. You will find that, yes, in certain areas, an election would have been won if it had been free, fair and credible. But because of malpractices, our candidates lost.
Okay.
So it is, we do not hold regrets. We are just grateful.
And preparing for 2030.
2031, yes.
Okay, as a human rights lawyer, njagala otunuulire the previous election from a human rights lens, or to where your kind of description of the whole process.
The entire process was marred by a lot of violence and a lot of intimidation to candidates and also their supporters. That election was actually a precursor to something that we need all to have a conversation about. Do we really need to have elections that will lead to such a polarization, whereby most of supporters of the leading opposition are arrested, charged, and they are outrightly denied bail?
Yeah.
And in this regard, you will find yourself that the cases are not moving. However, at the same time, their right to liberty has been infringed upon. Secondly, the issue of the involvement of the police and the army in the elections. This was so significant that many people were victims of this brutality. The Electoral Commission authorizes a candidate to gun a campaign in a particular area.
Yes.
They reach there, security finds that no, you are not supposed to campaign in this area. So the question is, who's in charge of the campaigns or the campaign period? Who supervises these elections? Was it the army? Was it the police? Was it the Electoral Commission?
Police, their work wasn't supervised, it was to give protection. So, but in cases where the police feels overwhelmed, the army will come in to help. But the whole motive was to give protection.
I am not contesting what you are saying, because the law clearly says that the police and army shall provide security under the supervision of the Electoral Commission to every person contesting and where they are contesting from. Yes. In the circumstances, this was abused. They were now directing those that are campaigning on where to go and where to campaign. So the question is, were they protecting them? Were they providing for them a stable atmosphere so that they can campaign, or they were curtailing?
Singa mbera police person, you are the candidate. My role is to protect you and protect the people woli muku nonya Kalulu. So as I protect you, I am protecting other people and their businesses. You might want your kuba radio in an area where your rally is going to disrupt a business. So I will direct you to another place where the people will be will be secure. You also be secure, and the business will go on.
You have ever heard of the Kampala Capital City Festival?
Yes.
Where is it held?
In the city center. In the city center.
Exactly. Are there roads in the city center?
Yes.
Are there businesses in the city center?
Exactly.
On that day, what happens? Those roads, those businesses are closed. So what is the problem of one being inconvenienced for one day? Somebody holds a rally and leaves because nobody sleeps there after campaigning. So the argument that businesses it is prior prepared. This is an event that is prepared for 5 years. So if somebody is to campaign in a particular area and you say there is a market there, let the vendors accept that this day somebody is going to campaign among the stars. On one day, I've told you we can close the entire capital city for a festival. We are talking of a person that is going to be the president of this country.
So, did you tell me you are a human rights lawyer?
Yes.
And you are telling me, I should be inconvenienced by Maseruka Azirare.
You see, some rights are not absolute. Some rights can be derogated over. Some rights can at a certain time be limited. So the issue is, if you do not work for some hours, because I don't believe a rally takes place the entire day. If you do not work for some hours, you say that from 8 to midday, this road shall be used by people that are campaigning. What is that much inconveniencing than fighting, tear gassing, brutalizing and beating people the whole day who want to use that road? Imagine
Masero Kasadat. Are you imagining the whole situation as you approach?
Yes, and whatever I'm trying to imagine.
We have 80 candidates that are going to come and campaign, and every time they campaign, yes, we close the market.
No, and that is also a wrong perspective. Not every candidate campaigns in where the other candidate has campaigned. That's not. Every candidate furnishes with the Electoral Commission their campaign program and the venues where they will campaign from, if those venues are approved. So what is the purpose of police now diverting from the unagreed schedule? That is the issue, because the moment such a venue, such a district has been approved, it means it is suitable to hold a campaign rally there, and the people are well prepared to be in that area. So you inconvenience the electoral process by now diverting as an afterthought the people from where they had already agreed that they will meet. That is it.
I really do not want to agree with you.
You may not
because
agree.
I am pro-people.
I am more pro-people than you, because they have never seen people in those areas saying that let this so and so not campaign in this area. No, it is the police that tell you, you will not use this road. You will not use this venue. Please find another venue. We have found that this venue will be small. So their issue has never been with the people they have gone to campaign to, because it is them that they are cardinal right to be campaigned to, so that message reaches them. That is inconvenienced. And if they say, yes, for us we shall not work today, you come and campaign amongst us, where do you find the inconvenience and loss on their behalf?
But ochiraba monti bali protecting your would-be voters abayinza okulonda singa venue ebeera ntono, and the suffocation and everything that comes with having big numbers in a small space.
I have no issue with an argument that this venue will be small, but my question is the road small for all the users? Because people are blocked from using certain roads. So the question is,
certain reasons.
Which reasons you are giving is that people will suffocate, which I find very, very, very audacious. That really a road that you use for the last only 10 minutes are enough for somebody and they are proud to pass.
Let me give you a very realistic situation. Nchoso kusanga campaign mujita mtyeze ababatambula. Oyinza okulwa mu jam for a full hour singa obo sanza abantu abo nga balina we balaga.
You see.
No basanga Jinja Road nga their rallies in Mukono. My dear, if you are going to Jinja, you will reach Jinja in the evening.
You see, that is what we always say. Democracy has inconveniences. You see, that is why we pay a huge price to all the elections. So you being inconvenienced by 1 hour for people that are carrying, because because currently, if it is done currently, after elections, you will have justification to quell that procession. However, it is within the timelines for elections. Everybody will understand. For instance, the Bagisu every year hold their Imbalu festivals. They move all across.
Every odd year.
Okay, every odd year. So in every odd year, you understand that these are the Bagisu, they will inconvenience us for some time, and we shall meet them in the next odd year. But however, we always find that we want to be assertive even in things that require some level of compromise. Yes, if, for instance, you are going to Jinja and you know that there will be a rally in Mukono, plan early. And it's not going to be like that every day, because it is only for that day and that particular candidate. You will find that it is only 1 or 2 candidates that actually have the crowds. And but you create a scenario of destroying, violating people's rights everywhere, just to protect one that is going to use that road to save that 1 hour from Kampala to Jinja. Then you maim, you imprison, you beat others, and just to protect one that is going to Jinja to save that 1 hour. No, it is there must be some level of compromise.
We are not protecting one, they are actually making sure that business goes on as usual however much we have a rally taking place somewhere. But I want us to move away from that and we assess the post-election. We need to I need to first us to look at the performance of the opposition as you performed in the previous election, and whether that actually calls for something, or you are preparing something to do something with the numbers that you got and the performance that we saw in the previous election.
Whereas I am a member of the Democratic Front, and also whereas I do not speak for the opposition, we find that there was a dwindling number of representation in Parliament. And for me, as the circumstances, as people that were particularly involved in this election, I agree that the opposition performed extremely very well. There was a lot, yes, there was a lot of there was a lot of human rights violations in this election.
The opposition performed extremely very well.
Under the circumstances that people were campaigning under the circumstances whereby almost people's campaign teams are currently still in prison, under the circumstances whereby the army and police took over the elections, under the circumstances whereby people were not allowed to campaign in certain or particular areas.
Is it the first time those things are happening?
It may not have been the first time, but this time it has been worse. Under the circumstances of the current legal regime of the electoral laws that we are participating under, you clearly see that there was no order. Candidates are denominated in the middle of the elections. You find that people's mandate and win has been overturned at the Tuli Center. So you find that candidates are voted while in prison. You find that so all those circumstances really do not paint a glory picture. So the numbers, and whereas they were dwindling, but you have to juxtapose them and compare them to the circumstances under which the people were performing. So they performed extremely very well. So it is only that we have to assert that there must be some assurances and guarantees that we are going for elections that are not for do or die.
So if I am a member of the opposition, I should come out and chest thumb for the results that we announced.
You see, there is
having your leader of opposition having a 2 million against 7 million. You see the 2 million or 7 million is basing on the circumstances I'm telling you, because you'll find that most circumstances zaliwo 211 zaliwo 225 zaliwo 216 zibaddewo ne 221.
You tell me circumstances whereby in a particular region the chief campaigning agent of a particular candidate and the vote protection teams were arrested, where a political party, almost all the vice presidents of that political party, some have just been released, but most of them have been in prison, some are still there. You explain how the 7 million come up vis-a-vis the 2 million. So it is, and the 7 million and 2 million, I don't know the verification apart from the announcements that we have, because elections must be also not only credible, but they must also provide accountability that sincerely you lost in this particular district. You lost. So that breakdown, as it is done actually at the constituency and other local government positions, you'll find that there is a tally sheet. As a journalist, have you accessed the tally sheet for the presidential elections showing that particular candidates got various votes in particular district or constituencies? Because it's a right for a candidate to receive. So we are
during the tallying of those elections, for us who were able to access the National Tally Center, waliwo laptops or computers where chairman EC would come and announce candidate wati ali ku million 3 na ali ku emo na ali ku eri. So he would not come out clearly to give results zino zivudde jinja, but he would say, if you want to know where these results are coming from, you can go and access our portal.
Be that as it may.
And you know where exactly.
You are explaining exactly what happens.
Yes, I am explaining exactly what happened.
Even elsewhere, they declare so and so has garnered this number of votes.
Did you have access to know where those results were coming from?
Yes, thereafter, it is a right of a candidate to ask for a breakdown through a tally sheet. And that is printed and given to the candidate.
Did the candidates ask for those tally sheets?
And as a journalist, you are aware that one of the presidential candidates that actually went to court asked to make an audit.
That one, who withdrew the case?
Asked to get that tally sheet. Yes, my question is, if he did not access it because they told him of the cost and implications of getting the same, and he withdrew his matter. So and also, currently people are still demanding that if they cannot give us the tally sheet, let they display on their website that this happened in this particular district and this is the return that we were able to garner. So the circumstances under which these elections were held.
Who are these people? Because I am not hearing any voices in Gababuza such questions. Everyone seems comfortable with the result.
No, most of the people are not comfortable with the results.
But we are not hearing
any voices. And you, me, and others all have equal rights to have the same demand for the same results. So if you are not hearing, I am hearing them. And they are saying,
where?
From wherever, and they are stating, no, please, you just show us this breakdown and we have closure. And it is within the rights, because whereas the election is free and fair, it must also be credible and there must be accountability that this happened and it happened. So the kind of operations that elections were held in, the opposition regarding the number of votes they were able to garner, it was a pat on the back. It's not good, but however, based on the circumstances, they extremely performed very well. Yes.
So, what your performance, as you say that they performed really very well in the previous election. When we look at the opposition in its entirety as it stands right now, would you be proud to say that the opposition now is strong? Is it at its weakest? Or performing?
Based on the performance, the opposition is at its weakest.
Why would you perform extremely very well and then you are weakest?
You see, it is not the role of the person you are competing with to make you stronger. So whatever they were doing was aimed at making us weaker. So, and it is in that weakness that we are able to have this dwindling performance. However, if the circumstances were different, our performance would have been different. So, and also the strength of opposition is seen with the number of representation it has. So, so the weakness does not come basing on the way we performed. It comes also in the numbers that we are able to push through regardless of the circumstances. So the opposition is weak. It was disjointed. The information or message was not there. There was no cooperation and having similar synergies to see that all of us work together. Whereas we may have been in different political parties, but we have joined efforts to see that there are issues of common cause. We support each other. That was not there. There was also lack of identity of most of the opposition candidates. Are they opposition? Are they not opposition? Are they not? And this was also created by the fractions and the infightings in the opposition. So the opposition is weak at the moment. One, because of the numbers and the way it conducted itself towards and during the elections. What
does the opposition need to do to rebuild themselves, but also build the public trust? Because it seems like abantu batandise okubajjamu obwesigwe. So at your weakest, what are you looking at? Mplanning a kolachi?
Yes, there must be first of all talks of unifying the entire opposition, especially through efforts in Parliament and also outside Parliament. I'd say there should be efforts of unifying the opposition, because in Parliament, opposition, the few numbers as they are, they have to work together so that they can put up a spirited fight for the people. So it is not about whether it will be possible or not, but it is a must that they have to find ways of working together, because it is needed. The other numbers are overwhelming. The only way is to unify. Also outside Parliament, there must be conversations of how political parties will work to garner space that has been occupied by the current government. It does not mean that they must be friends. There must be a minimum standard of working together so that there is a reduction in the number of the NRM, and also the spread of the opposition message, and also to instill further hope in the people. People voted, and currently they are still waiting to get that message. So there must be joint efforts whereby whatever number of votes one got, they can work together and see that the opposition and its message and also their supporters are kept with hope, are given a direction, and are given a message that will drive the opposition towards the next elections.
Do you know why I asked whether it is possible? Is because that they are not in good terms with the leading political party, opposition party.
Okay.
So wogamba nti tugenda vaayo mukolere wamu waliyo abantu abakosebwa at a personal level. They are not in Parliament, naye nga they are lost bayina political party gye bajja attachingako. Kakati, this all is happening in the opposition. If that was happening, it is opposition against the NRM, that would be understandable. But there are those voices that feel like they are not in Parliament because of a certain political party. Do you, given that situation and circumstance, you still stand it is still...
Yes, I do stand on it, because elections are not personal. Representation of people is also not a constituency is not personal to holder. Secondly, some candidates lost not on the circumstances that they were being fought by their fellow opposition candidates. Some lost for other reasons. Secondly, a loss has happened. We should all accept that, yes, we lost. However, we must move forward. And we are not going to continue with the bickering that caused the losses, and we lose further because of personal ego. It is actually the Democratic Front is mature politicians that know that elections are a part of life. You win or lose. And we do not expect members of the Democratic Front not to be open to holding discussions or to having a semblance of unity with other political parties. But you can ask others if they are willing to walk the talk. We are here, and we told them that we should need electoral reforms. You know who refused to join us in that cause. We are here, we are telling you that we need to unify, work together, and see that in the near future some of the mistakes we made are not repeated. Okay. You wait and ask whether they are willing to be part of that. That's why I tell you that these efforts can also be seen who shall be a bigger person in Parliament, who shall lead others for unification, who shall lead others for the common cause, and that shall spill over to the public. And if not, the public shall galvanize itself, choose who they will find to unify under, and the opposition will move. So those are personal issues. And so there are those that you are claiming that lost. They had the right card as they stated, but they did not win. So whom do they blame those ones?
I may not know who they blame.
So therefore they should come. And,
but I am very sure
yes,
that it is practically not possible that you are going to work with someone that you broke off from. You had the reason, then you want to tell me this.
The fragmentation itself created this mess that we are in. So working together is one of the ways of reducing all the mistakes we made. And it does not mean that the disagreements were personal. Some were ideological. Some were so driving this to be a personal issue. It is demeaning to the character of some of the politicians that have stood the time in this country. They know, despite the criticism, despite the failure in an election, it has never been personal, because people do so because of advancing different agendas. However, if opportunities present themselves for holding a credible and truthful discussion, the Democrat Front can be ready for that.
Okay, bwetunuulira embeera nga bweri, ani asobola, who is in the right position to drive that agenda of unity among the opposition? Because katwayigambye leading opposition party naye leader waayo ali kulira ku nsiko. So ani motuufu, because there are some voices ezigamba nti right now the opposition lacks that figure to lead them to have a unified opposition. There is okubanga you have another, kind of thought. When
leadership is not called upon, the vacuum is always occupied by those that are ready. However,
but there is a vacuum, so
yes,
we are
the vacuum will be occupied by that organized group that will find that there is a need as a country to have a conversation regarding the opposition unity. Second, there are various seasoned politicians in this country that can offer themselves. I will not name many, but I know that they are there, that can take on the mantle to spearhead this very critical discussion of having a unified opposition. So it is not about the particular person I believe or I see, because I will be biased. I have a party president. I have friends. So but however, despite all that, leadership is not given. It is taken, and where there is a vacuum, somebody will occupy that vacuum. And I know those that are ready, seasoned, and respectable will take that position.
Okay, I want us now to go to understanding the post-election social political economy. Wane wafe e Uganda we Tuli. Gwotunuulira embeera nga bweri. How would you describe the socio-economic environment after the election?
After the elections, people should understand that the money that you always ask for from candidates. For me, my vote is 5,000.
So
my vote is 20,000. That money must be is not gotten from Mars. It is gotten at a cost of reducing on certain other productive areas in the economy. For instance, if somebody is a manufacturer and is campaigning, that means he will stop producing soap and give you the money so that you vote him. So that means after voting him, we'll have to find means of getting that money from you and be able to produce more soap. So if you cry of scarcity after elections, you clearly know that you ate the money for production. And secondly, you should also know that there must be mechanisms of now siphoning that money back. So the socio-economic situation after elections or post-elections is massively influenced by the level of expenditure candidates
that happens during elections.
So the higher the commercialization of the politics, the higher the hardships post-elections, because they will need to put up fiscal policies to redeem that money from the people back into the economy. And it is
omuntu gwe bawe bbiri twabalaba babasimbiza line nga baba wa bbiri mulonde Kateshu mba mulina mukozesa example because yabikola tubiraba publicly.
So they say to each their own, to each their burdens. If you receive 2,000 shillings, you suffer as one received 100 million, because you all received money for a particular purpose during a particular period of time. So
how about us who refuse the money?
Then
we also suffer the same consequences.
Because the issue is you have failed not to protect those others from being like you. You have kept it to yourself the purpose of you not being bought as a candidate, so as a voter. So those that eat money on your behalf make you suffer. So it is incumbent upon us to tell people that sincerely, when you are voting, you should understand that actually after elections there must
wajja kubeerawo obwavu.
Yes, wajja kubeerawo obwavu nga tebuleetebwa mize gyaffe egyakolebwa mu Kalulu, because somebody will say that will go and sell his plot of land. He will come and bribe you, and he will dispute that money. the first thing he will do after winning that election will be to hike taxes, so that he gets that money. Azeo property. The first thing they will do is to, the brokers, the first thing they will do is to make sure that all avenues that are bringing money in the economy are reduced, so that they are able to cover the losses. Also, investors that have not been in the country, that's when they will see that now the country is stable, they will try to come back. So before elections, these two issues, actually even the violence in the elections, creates the economic situation after elections. Because towards elections, tensions are heightened.
Yeah. And
most of the investors, they fear to invest in an unstable environment. So there is a lot of capital flight during the elections.
Yeah.
So after elections, they are analyzing the situation, whether they can be back and invest in that particular area. So before they come back to invest, that means that if a factory was employing 100 people, 50 will not be laid off, but they will be working without a salary, because the investors is still assessing whether they will need that factory anymore, whether that factory is still feasible to bring business to them, whether the new leaders actually are friendly. So that all will create the economic crisis. So you beat up people, you maim people, you arrest people, you tear gas people, but in the long run, you are sending a signal to the investors that this is not a stable environment to invest in your money. Please hold on. Secondly, the kajanja we have. For me, my vote is 5,000. For me, my vote is 10,000. They will give you the 10,000, but you will pay the 10,000 by 100 million.
Naye akosika janja twebuuza ani yakulyetingawo embeera ey'okuba nti bannayuganda batuuka kussa erisaba ayagala okumulonda essente.
Yes, it is
the situation, because it seems like they are just fitting in the situation that is already happening.
Mateka, they have to call quid pro quo. You cannot blame the other of what you are doing. Uchiteged. Tozi agamba nti abasaba akalulu bebaleta situation eyo. Atosobola kugamba nti abalonzi, because asaba akalulu yatuka nakusaba akalulu nomugamba nti what olina sente tokujja kola ki? Nalemera ku principles ne mukuba akalulu. The second time wajja kujja abawe sente, because that's what you want. Uchitegera kakati you cannot nkaita kajanya, because people have been told time and again that your vote is not worth any amount of money. Please vote people based on their ideological orientation. What are they going to do?
In what economic context do you tell someone not to accept money? Because nshandi koze singa bannayuganda babanga
because giving me 5,000 shillings when I'm going to fail to actually get a job in a factory that would have employed 200 people and only taking 50 people is directly inconveniencing me after the elections, because this 5,000 I will eat for a day. Remember, I am seeking for employment to not only get money, but actually to also get skills and experience.
Yes.
Now, if that money, the investor that has a factory, after election is going to be heavily taxed, so that that money comes back to the treasury, why don't I make it easy for this money not to leave the treasury before the elections, so that after elections there is nothing to justify these stringent fiscal policies to bring back money?
Why are you blaming or are receiving an anger wali wagaba?
Agaba sente aina option biri. Okuzikuwa n'omulonda oba okuzikuwa n'otamulonda. Gwalonda eno options biri. Okuzikuwa n'otamulonda oba n'ozigaana. Naye bw'azikuwa
ne simulonda
tajja kuddamu zikuwa.
Bw'ozimuwa ne mulonda
n'omulonda n'enkyajja kudda kuwe, because that is the language you understand. So I blame it mostly on those that receive the money, because webakuwa sente you do exactly what you have been asked to do. Senga agaba sente amanya nti ne bwe n'abawa sente tebajja kunonda, definitely they will stop.
Okay.
However, people go to campaign. 5 years, they are nowhere to be seen. They go back with trucks of money, sacks of money, and again they are voted. So you expect them to ditch a winning formula? It is about the voters. And actually, to change something, it has to be the many. Between the candidates and the voters who are the majority. Who can put up a solidified position that no, if you want our vote, come and convince us. Do not send us money, do not send us handkerchiefs, do not send us hose, you come and talk to us. It is the voters.
So, but to know the monetization of politics as it is in Uganda, we all transfer the blame to the voters.
Majority of the blame is transferred to the voters because a person that needs something from you will have to work basing on your demands. So if your demands are monetary, of course they will come with monetary promises. If the demands are in service delivery, of course they will come with promises of service delivery. So the problem is not only with the voters, also the candidates themselves have a mentality that they will come and just buy. However, the voters share the largest burden because even the inconveniences, even the poverty that happens after the elections mostly affects the voters because you have voted for ABCD, he has gotten a salary, a permanent salary for the next 5 years. For you, you are still a trader in a certain market. Yeah. You have been given 5,000 Uganda shillings. The next morning, KCCA wants 10,000 every day.
And why aren't we looking at the root causes of this whole thing? Because
the root causes is one the collapse in what you call ideology politics. the lack of message messaging in our political settings. Also the failure to provide services to the people, and also the creation of an atmosphere of poverty. Because there are certain situations where you find that whereas you may not want to give people money, but you'll have to do noble causes so that they are even facilitated to come and vote for you. Because they do not have means of transport, they do not have means of communication, so you'll end up find yourself you are spending to bring them actually to exercise that right. So the breakdown in the service delivery in this country, the failure to address the economic problem and the poverty in this country. Also, the lack of civic awareness and trainings amongst the population. Yeah. And this goes back to the Electoral Commission, because the Electoral Commission, apart from coming and putting their boxes, it has the duty throughout the 5 years to inform people how, when, how to vote and who to vote for in case that time comes. However, the issue of giving trainings on who is the credible leader and who is a masquerader creates this current situation. Those are the root causes, that a person will only go look for money wherever they will get it from. They will come buy the voters at all costs, and thereafter they will disappear. There will be no service delivery, no people-centered policies, no economic intervention, and it will be a cycle for the next 5 years.
Why shouldn't we task the responsible people? Let us task Mr. Government now. Okulaba nti obwavu bukendeera mu bantu kubanga emaseruka hwaza akatenike mu pocket tebajja mu wabiri kumugula alonde someone. Why don't we task abantu abali responsible okulaba nti bakyusa embeera the economic situation in Uganda yesinza okuleetera eno monetization y'okuprevailinga because people do not have money. Olaba mu kyalo because politics abasinga bamulabira wanene Kampala. But in the village, omuntu amuwopa kuwa olukumi nga there is a family that has spent a month without soap.
That goes back to the issue of the service delivery in this country. And it is very unfortunate that whereas we try to create some levels of awareness through other organizations, through platforms like this Digitalk, you will find that there are certain section of the population that is actually again still outside what we call the money economy, because they do not have a TV, they cannot buy data, and they
Tebaina radio.
so such and secondly they depend on what we call barter trade. They're not in the monetary economy. Yes. So it is such vulnerable people that actually are exploited. These ones actually, those are the most principled people. However, their vulnerability is exploited by the leaders.
Yes.
In that regard, I do not blame such people. I blame the leaders. Instead of improving the lives of those people, they keep them in that situation and take advantage year in, year out. Because it is those that clearly tell that I do not want somebody to pay me to vote. However, I do not have soap. My child hasn't gone back to school. I need I don't have scholastic materials. Yes. So, and the leader will keep that particular community in such poverty so that they are able to do their bidding. And whereas you try to reach them through other private means, it is hard because of them being outside the economy. However, there are also those well educated, well informed, actually holding very serious employment opportunities, well educated, far exposed, that demand for money. That demand for money. And they make it a norm. And
they fall the trend.
No, they normalize it. Actually, it is these people that are educated and literate enough that paint a picture that actually it is okay to be bribed so that you vote for someone. That is why the other people receive a token of appreciation. They give them soap. Yeah. They give them books. Here you ask for hard cash. You see? Yeah. So, and when you analyze the circumstances, that the person given 5,000 shillings actually can make 20,000 a day. You see? However, the person that is receiving above soap, you clearly see that this particular individual is had they had the soap, they would not have been here with me. Yes.
Aba politician banji bagabye ebintu bingi ebimu nga biweebula. Someone yagabako nickers mu byalo eyo. N'agabira abakyala knickers. So I do not know how he came to understand that women do not have knickers in that particular area. And so he went and bought knickers and gave to women. It was very, very disappointing to see such a politician ng'akola ekintu ekyo eri bamaama baffe. Because ekyo ekintu kiba kiswaza. Naye ate ekyono kiragira ddala the level of civic awareness eri mu bantu nti bajja mugulumiza nnyo kubanga agenzi n'abagulira nika of 1,000 n'agibawa. So abakulembeze baffe betulina bannaye tusaba museemu abalonzi ebitiibwa nga nva ku nsonga njagala tutunuulireko ku economic priorities government ze yali badde efocusingako. Now that yes we are past elections but kati wano wetulabira nti now politics begins. New cabinet, buli omu gwe bagadde obwa minister, buli omu akwata kyakutte. What are those priorities economically government ze yali badde focusing akona tulaba abantu obubbi buli waggulu nnyo? That will actually explain kyobadde otugamba nti esente abantu baziba wa mukalu kati right now tewali flow of money. So kati omuntu wakulabiriza ng'olina ekyebiri akugoberera paka wo.
No, that one also has a different angle of explanation. It's that while previously being in certain situations in life or stations in life, as staying in a ghetto, staying in a slum, was treated as something bad that you'll have to fight so hard to come out from. Now we are in the era or in a situation whereby people glorify themselves to be born, bred and staying in the ghetto, and they pride that is their station in life. Now the government has exacerbated the situation by now going to empower these people in the ghettos and give them means and access to what we call the outside economy, and also also to people that matter in society. You'll find that a gang is having a leader that has a connection with the police, because of these social interactions.
Yes.
These gangs have been able now to infiltrate and be recognized on tables where actually decent people
can sit and discuss.
So it is this situation that they have actually also been given money. So my question is, the ghetto money, where does it go? Is it going in skilling? Is it what economic activity are these people engaged in besides eating this money? So, for instance, if somebody has been eating 2,000 Uganda shillings every day, and you advanced their budget to 10,000 Uganda shillings for some time, and thereafter the elections you cut the 10,000, they will have to look for means of continuing earning the 10,000 Uganda shillings. In my perspective, it is leading to this high urban crime rate.
Mu opinion yo gamba mweno initiative Mr. President jabadde ateeseewo okulaba nga beelevatinga ghetto youths. Ogamba nti yeeretedde obubbi okweyongera? Because
most of these people, did they denounce their activities they were doing before? Or they were used for political expedience. It is not about saying, it's about doing. Because you see, the issue is, I'm asking, they have been organized in groups.
Yes.
They have been given money. Yes. Yes. Is there a report that this money actually went for those particular job opportunities that they were given? Two, is it true that actually they were needing money to start businesses? Because some are outright criminals. And this criminal has been now taken on a budget that is because if somebody could steal for 2,000 Uganda shillings, he's advanced now, he can rent a house of 150,000 Uganda shillings. And after you close that avenue that was giving them the 150 to pay, because government had as if put them on transfer earnings. They are like secondary school students. Now the elections are over, because they were needed for elections. The government is leaving, so these people have to look for means of continuing to have that money. You have exposed them to good life. You have given them money that they have not worked for. Some have not used that money usefully, yet they have to still living the lifestyle they have acquired.
Do you so realize nti abana bana abomu ghetto naddala abo abakola emisango eminene bagamba nti fete tulina mirimu mwagala tulyewa? So now the government comes in and says, we are giving you a startup capital for you okubeerako ne kyewokolera, because the government will not employ everyone.
It takes me back to one, the question asked, what should be the priorities? The priority should be in skilling people. It is not, because
but we should at that point we should actually thank the government. It is doing its best to skill.
You see, the government's intervention is mostly in people organizing circles, parish development model. These are money releasing avenues.
Skilling Uganda.
The skilling they were talking about, there are some skilling projects of girl, child, blah blah.
Yes.
I am telling you, skilling the population is beyond what you are trying to allude to. Secondly, before giving people money through a circle, through PDM, is there a basic form of training that actually informs them of the unrealistic or idealistic proposals they have made that they want money for? Or it's about registering, being part of a particular organization or circle, and you receive the money.
You receive the money, so it is.
So these ghetto youths may want jobs, but if you put money in the room and say, what kind of job do you want, you will find that you don't have a specific answer, because they are not adequately schools for the job market.
So Singa obeera gwe, so that you are in that position, tasked okulabanga oyambako abaana ba ghetto. What priorities would you actually focus on? Because kale tugambe nti had a wrong approach. What approach would you have alternatively to what the president had?
The first approach is the identification of these particular groups. There are those that actually are in the ghettos but skilled and well nurtured. Two, fighting what we call drug abuse in those communities. Three, skilling these communities to tailoring skills that are within their areas of locality, because you cannot rise up and say we are going to skill because you are going to skill people in the ghetto, for instance, and their major occupation is, for instance, you'll find that somebody is having a chapati stall, somebody is running a small shop, somebody is selling juice. A
chalk stall.
Yes. Yes. Now, for you bring a skilling project that is telling them now bricklaying, poultry, you see, being a florist. So all those things there must be identification and understanding of the current station in life of the people you want to empower. You can only empower them by improving on what they are currently doing, not the reverse.
Not giving them a new skill. Not
giving them something new, because most of them, this something new is not sustainable. Most of them are talented, and they are only, they need exposure to exhibit their talents. They are footballers, they are musicians, they do all sorts of talented activities. However, when you come with a skilling project, secondly, there should be recognition that crime is crime. It should not be proud. One should not pride that, yes, because I'm in the ghetto, I'm untouchable. Chibanda. Yes. No, there must be recognition that, yes, I am in this situation because of circumstances that are beyond my control, but I want to denounce or to not to be part of this. Because you cannot tell me that you're empowering people to be and to continuously stay in the ghettos.
One time I had thought that everyone in the ghetto is a musician. Because
that is thank you so much. When they talk about ghetto, some people may believe, because of the current intervention, some people may believe that we are talking about musicians, and you are right, but there are people doing other things undecently. There are people running smooth businesses in the ghettos. However, they want to break through and leave those ghettos.
That is why Baba wadde skilling in Uganda nti gwe ale mu ghetto nga you are looking to live a decent life, take advantage of the initiative that is being put in place. Gendo you get skill, add on what you are doing of nti wejja mu ghetto. But I don't want to believe that what you are actually saying is practical, that we are going to go into the ghetto and then go and start to kusengeja goyagala chapati chotegeera tujja kusomesa how to handle business gwe oyagala because I think people should identify within themselves where their passion is. Kati tuba skilling within their passion. You
see when you talk about interventions, these things must be planned and researched. You do not hold a rally and say abageto yejini mbawade sente wezit, abajini mbawade sente wezit. Of course the money will come, but there will be no impact or improvement in people's lives. So it sounds unrealistic, but it is feasible, because if somebody is a musician, you cannot turn them into a footballer, however much you may skill them. And also their passion they may be passionate about something, but they cannot actually do it.
Nani yagamba nti omuwoba ne talent tokola.
And that is I agree with you. And I agree with you, and that is a problem that we are having in most of some urban areas that are presumably called ghettos, that most of the breakthrough talents outside there, they do not know anything beyond their talents, which is actually wrong, because talent takes you somewhere else so that you are in a position to actually, talent gives you the capital to establish a business foundation. So all these things must be inculcated into these people. That is the skilling we are talking about. What makes a musician or a person that is in that industry to move with almost 100 people on a daily basis? How are these people contributing to the economy? The musician is earning. How are these other people contributing to the economy?
Nabo bayinengeri je ba contributing, because tell me why one would leave their work to go akutambulira.
I do say that they do not contribute to the economy because they do not have a formal job.
But they are spending. Where is that money going?
They are spent on. You see, there is spending and being spent on. So there is only one earner whose salary is fragmented to take care of other dependents. They are actually dependents on another person. They are able-bodied, they are strong, they can farm, they can do all other things. However, they are not contributing directly to the economy, but they are actually eating or depending on one that is contributing to the economy.
So, salary bokera kumacha from your salary. No mpake 10. Ekumi lyange when you spending, why you not contributing to the economy?
Those are what we call transfer earnings. Those are transfer earnings. You have your uncle in the United States
who sends me a 500 every month.
You do not work. He comes and pays your rent, sends upkeep, buys food. You are not. You are not. You are dependent.
I am not contributing to the economy.
You are not. It is the other person that is contributing to the economy indirectly. However, through you. For you, you have not contributed to the economy. However, you believe, for instance, now if they ask, you and your uncle who is rich?
The uncle, of course.
So if they want to tax on income, whom do they tax?
He has the income, so they tax.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Oli kumaishi drive nino mkulu Marcel Kasata chokuva mchibiina cha DF ono natulira dala committee ya human rights era nga ensonga tuli mu economics, the economy, but we are talking this simplified economics that you and me can understand. Nti osobola okubeera nga oli mukyala ayo waka, you do not work but you spend. So literally you could think that you are contributing to the economy because every day there is money going out through your hands. Maseruka is saying, you are not contributing to the economy.
You are dependent. You
are dependent to your husband, who is earning and giving you the luxury of sitting home and giving you that kind of life. So ndoza to sobolo kubanga tuyigam. We all come here to make sure that information is given to you, ekuyambe, not to you to receive information and not benefit from it. To add to our priorities, economic priorities where the government should actually focus, okubanga eyambako bana Uganda. Right now as the economic situation is in Uganda, would you think that the government should actually focus on making the environment suitable for investors to come back and invest and then kind of deal with the high rates of unemployment?
You see, the government will definitely give some assurances to the investors. Those that are still around, they will have to bring in more capital because after swearing in, there will be some semblance of stability. We will have a parliament, we will have a head of state, and in that regard, investors will think otherwise, not to transfer their capital to other countries. However, government should establish initiatives on breeding local investors, because a local investor, whether we are in a situation of war, whether in a situation of anarchy or a situation of violence, they will have nowhere to run. They will have to keep here and make this place better. We will be having less capital flight other than the foreign investors. So more initiatives and more incentives should be given to local investments so that these investments can breed more local employment opportunities and also locally bred their capital in this country. Yes.
Nebo tunolira abavubuka, the youths, now post-election, some of them were used, others participated. Others got participated, but we all came out of the election. Now let's answer the youth question as it is. Right now, what should we do? What should they do? Some of them, the high rates of unemployment, not the older generation. So to tackle the youth question, what should be done?
You see, unemployment is a constant in life. You see, at any one moment there must be those that are unemployed. However, listen, the high rate of unemployment is alarming, and it is brought in two folds. One, the lack of expansion in our small economy. if you look at the Ugandan economy, what are the most things that we deal in? That create more opportunities, that even if you are not employed by government and you are not in Chukubo, you will be earning. So there is no widening of the...
Oba toli mu government, mpozo genda olime, oba?
Ate mu kulima ogenda tunda wa, because the issue is the sector that you are talking about would have employed many people.
Yes.
However, it is defunct that if I grow my coffee, I will have to compete with 1,000 others. If I grow my vanilla, I'm not sure whether by the time I am harvesting, there will be market. If I'm growing my matoke, I don't know whether that matoke will be preserved so that it reaches the market. Yeah. So in the circumstances, there is a smaller economic pool that can employ everybody. And that is why people are resorting to the creative economy. People want to be content creators, people want to be...
Everyone has become a blogger.
Yes, and also there is limited space in the production sector. Production and value addition sector. For instance, if somebody grows matoke, there must be somebody that is going to process that matoke, pack it, and preserve it.
Yeah.
However, the level of intervention in value addition and the expenditure in establishing such factories is high. So the most neglected sector, I'm sorry to say, is the agriculture sector, that could have given most of us
jobs.
And also, you'll find that in some skilled sectors like mining, ICT, those that we are concentrating on will actually take a limited number of people, because not everybody will have the capacity
and the skills
to earn those skills. However, everybody, whether skilled or not, can be a farmer. Whether skilled or not, can add value, because value addition, because chikwetagisa sophistication yamanyi okubana ekyuma ekikuma obuwunga.
Yeah.
Tekikwetagisa sophistication yamanyi okubanga
ate ne bokoza tebalina kubeera nga basoma nnyo.
So the economic pool where everything, even where our taxes come from, is limited. You find manufacturing, tourism is on and off. So it is in most of import and export, whereby, and we import more. So we have more traders, and which traders are highly taxed.
Yeah.
So
omukulembeze bwe yavaayo n'agamba nti ffenna tugende ku Bubbi.
Buy Uganda, build
Buy
Uganda.
Uganda, build Uganda.
Do you believe that?
Yeah, I would support the Bubbi because I am a Ugandan and I am pro everything that is taking Uganda to another level.
Yes.
Actually, we are looking to go into the middle income status.
And whereas you support it on your body, what is Buy Uganda, build Uganda on your body as you as you are sitting there?
No, because I'm going to buy Uganda, build Uganda.
You see, moderator.
Buy Uganda, build Uganda. Do you believe it is a good initiative?
It is a good initiative, but we should also understand that the Buy Uganda and build Uganda should also come with the quality of the items that are produced there. So why should I leave a cheap Chinese phone that has all the functions and I go for the one made in Kapeka? There must be some level of quality. Not only the price, also the quality must matter. So also, that's why I brought the question that on has looking nice you are, which on your body have you said, let me go with Buy Uganda build? Because you'll value quality. You will value all other things before saying that let me
go for Buy Uganda build
yes.
Uganda.
So the Buy Uganda build Uganda initiative is good. However, it must also be buttressed with production of high quality goods that are competitive on the world market. Because we are global economy. I can sit here tomorrow and I buy something in China, Germany, and the United States. So why should I forego a cheaper, however it may be of a higher price but of good quality, and I leave and I go for the Ugandan that is of poor quality, though it is cheaper?
Now I want to base on your kind of thinking and then pose a question. With that kind of thinking, are we supporting the economy of the country, or we are not, we are actually pulling it down?
You see, supporting the economy it should also be based on feasible and realistic measures. I would like to support the Ugandan economy, but why should I buy a car from Chiravi and leave a car from Japan? That must be the deal, because it cannot only be.
You already have a reason. It is made in Uganda.
It cannot be only patriotism.
Do you know that people have bought cars that I have regretted, and I have given us reason as zine motoka bazikolera ba America.
Yes.
And then those cars are in Uganda.
Yes.
And
yes, the question is, let we move slowly. Kiravi makes vehicles. How many vehicles are on the Ugandan roads whose spare parts of Kiravi are in our shops?
Spare parts
of those Kiravi vehicles. Whereas we are saying that we want to support Uganda, it should not only be based on patriotism. It should be also based on affordability. It should be based on convenience. It should also be based on quality. So a car from Japan, I can bring it here, and all over Kampala I can get a spare part. A car from Chiravi, I don't know where. So
you do not know where because you haven't bought the car. Do you agree that feedback is really very important? That if you buy a phone that has been assembled in Uganda, because we don't make phones, we only have spare parts from the factory, and then we assemble here. We can give feedback, and feedback moves very well with quality. It is poor quality. It does have a funny audio. It does this. It does that. So it helps those that are assembling or those that are trying to manufacture to work towards your interests as the consumer.
Thank you so much. That is exactly what I'm saying. For instance, if you are you're a lawyer, it is not, you're not going to market yourself moving with the billboard that I'm a lawyer. But the service you provide to one client recommends you to another. So if a person buys a Ugandan assembled phone and it is quirking, poor network, will that person advise any other person to buy a similar phone? They will actually say, I better buy an expensive phone from China. Now, that's what I was saying. I do not know where I can purchase the spare parts for Kiravi, because nobody has ever given me a good recommendation. Because in the circles I associate with, I've never seen anyone driving a vehicle from Kiravi. Am I to blame? No.
If you are driving a Japan-made car,
yes,
you will not know where to find spare parts for Kiravi. Because that is not your interest.
That is why I say that the level of quality of Kiravi should also be on the international standard. It should not only be because I'm a Ugandan that I must buy a Ugandan. It should also show that it is competitive on the world market.
It is also not fair to compare an itel with an iPhone. It's not fair. It is really,
and somebody will say that's why they have an iPhone and an itel, but they will not forego one for the other.
Okay, so in that kind of situation, how do we boost our economy?
The economy is at what we are speaking of is at free fall, whereby people are investing, not investing. Also, the demand in the market for such produced items is low. There is no consumer demand or strength to buy or demand for most of these locally produced products, because the people do not have the money. So you cannot create very many vehicles of Kiravi whereby there is no purchaser for them. You cannot create a factory. For instance, Kenya has a higher purchasing power because the economy of Kenya was built on a salary scale basis, whereby everybody, regardless a business person or not, has an employment somewhere. At the end of the month,
they are expecting some money. They are
expecting some money. Here, we do not have that semblance of a structure. Some people are... However, in Kenya, somebody runs them both. Because at the end of the month, that is when the purchase of everything is done. or at the beginning of the month. That's why you'll find that people are able even to have credit cards that at the end of the month they will put money. I will be able to purchase in a supermarket, and I can even take a loan from the supermarket because I have a guarantee of a salary. Here, the purchasing power is limited. It will only those that actually have a stable income. All businesses that would have provided stable income are dwindling because of high taxes and other mechanisms of doing business in this country. So, to boost the economy, there must be increasing of the purchasing power of the population. They must have some money in the pocket so that they are able to purchase. And this must be sustainable, because it does not make sense that I can purchase a house of 100 million today and tomorrow I cannot purchase something of 50,000 Uganda shillings. There is no balance. Because that money, there must be some level of sustainability that I can purchase for the next 10 years.
Yes,
it is deal making. It is deal making.
Yeah.
However, in other economies, people have a salary. Even if it is in the private sector, they earn on month end, month beginning, to give stability, to give a follow-up on that. At least I have earned this throughout the year. There are some people that don't know how much they earn in a year, but they have properties.
Kubanga guno mwezi asobola okufuna milioni 3 oguddako n'atafuna. Ne waitawo emyezi 3 n'afuna milioni 10. You cannot tell exactly how much you earn in.
Yes, so their purchasing power is also fluctuating. Today they can purchase, tomorrow they cannot. The other day they can purchase even at a higher rate. The following day they cannot even purchase at all. So the economy will be always in that free fall.
So how do we solve that?
Well,
economy, because
it is stability of business in this country. There must be a stable intervention to make business stable. Why should most of the businesses die at an first stage? Some brilliant ideas are frustrated because of the bureaucracies in one registering, running, and maintaining a business. Yeah. If you are not frustrated at registration, you are frustrated in taxation, you are frustrated in payment of rent. So in that situation, secondly, also the real estate industry should also diversify. It should not construct spaces for only retail and wholesale trade. There is manufacturing. Yeah. There is warehousing. There is the hotel industry. However, you reach the entire Kampala, nobody can rent. If not offices, we can only wait for retail. Yeah. So what if I want to put a mega industry, for instance, in Nakao? You see? Yet the purchase, yes, most of the buyers are around there. The market is there.
Yes. So
I have to go to Namanve. Then I incur a cost of transporting to the market.
To the city center.
So also there are a lot of things that are intertwined that will need an intervention of all of us.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Abatambudde naffe okuva wetandikidde show eno mwebale kubanga mutambudde naffe. Ngenda kusaba otuweeyo akatalekeka osibule n'abatulabye olunaku lwaleero.
Yes, abatulabye olunaku lwaleero Sadatu Maseruka gimanya gange nebaza Alternative Digital kubanga time and again etuwa omukisa okujja twogerekera eggwanga n'ekirala nti towewunya nnyo lwaki sente tolina mu nsawo. Akalulu ke twabaddemu munamu abiraba nga buli omu ayagala bamutemere nga tanaba kubaako kyalowooza kulonda oba ni gwanaalonda. So I urge the young people to find of other many creative ways of contributing to the economy. They should not dwell mostly on deal making, but mostly there must be sustainability in income if one is to progress from one level to another. The kind of employment that we're seeking for, which is from government, is limited to only very few people, that not all of us will be employed by government. However, all of us can be employers of others if we creatively establish our small-scale businesses or industries. I wish you well, and I pray that the term beginning 2026, 2031 is fruitful and of economic value to all of us.
Well, thank you so much. Mwebale kubanga mutambudde naffe kumala ate sawa namba n'eddakiika 3 zetubadde wano. Tusuubira ati mu discussion gye tubadde nayo muggyemu ekyokuyiga kimu 2 3 era nga bwe muba muggyemu ekyokuyiga you pass on the information eri ate n'abantu abalala nabo bayige. We make the flow of information nga ekyaliwo tuleme kwezibira information nga ffeffekka faba jimanyi. Ngenda kubaagaliza olunaku olulungi tusisinkane olunaku olw'enkya essaawa zijja kubeera 2 ez'okumakya. Have yourself a good day.
The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.